Good morning. So we're privileged today with a wonderful guest from our partner organization, uh, UNESCO. Our speaker today brings experience of nearly 30 years with UNESCO, UNICEF, JICA at global, regional, and country levels. She assumed her role as director of UNESCO Multisectoral Regional Office in Jakarta and UNESCO Regional Office to Indonesia, Brunei, Darussalam, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Timor Leste in July 2023. Prior to her current assignment, she is assigned as Director of Division of Education 2030 at UNESCO headquarters, overseeing UNESCO's global programs on gender and inclusive education, higher education, education in emergencies, and led the SDG 4 coordination mechanism. In addition, during 2022, she served as Executive Secretary to the Secretariat for the Transforming Education Summit convened by the UN Secretary General in September 2022. Our speaker today holds degrees in educational planning from Institute of Education, University College of London, and early childhood education from the South Australia University, and a bachelor's degree in international relations from the London School of Economics and Political Science. Wikimedians, welcome Ms. Maki Katsuno-Hayashikawa.
Hello. Hello. Good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, and also dear speaker, other distinguished speakers and participants. I'm a great honor to be here with you at the Wikimedia 2023. On behalf of UNESCO, I would like to really first welcome you all and extend my heartfelt gratitude to Wikimedia Foundation for inviting UNESCO to join this Wikimedia 2023 conference. We are particularly honored to be partner for this year's conference and to jointly celebrate the progress made by the Wikimedia movement and provide an opportunity for dedicated knowledge contributors to share their unique experiences, best practices, and valuable insights to foster new partnerships and collaborative initiatives. And also, of course, we wish to congratulate you all out there for your achievements and convey our unwavering support to the efforts in the open dissemination of knowledge. Now, I think together we must build a knowledge-based society that is really based on the principles of inclusivity, diversity, accessibility, and embrace access to open knowledge as a fundamental human right. The Wikimedia 2023 theme is diversity, collaboration, and future, and this is very much in line with UNESCO's spirit of building inclusive knowledge societies through open access to knowledge and information. So in my presentation, I wish to share a little bit of some initiatives that UNESCO is advancing our mandate together with our member states and partners. So now I'm very fully aware that I'm actually talking in front of experts. My background is education, as you may have already heard. So this is really a new area, a new horizon for me to be exploring now with all of you. But just to say that my presentation will focus on 3 points. First, on the importance of open knowledge and educational resources. Secondly, the potential challenges for ensuring access to information and the preservation of our cultural heritage adapted to the advancement of technology. And thirdly, UNESCO and the Wikimedia Foundation's collaboration for the preservation and accessibility of knowledge, in particular on the documentary heritage in indigenous languages. I'll speak a little bit more on that later. So now, open knowledge, of course, many of you know still, but refers to the idea of making information, data, and content freely available to all individuals open knowledge is essential. It, in essence, embodies the principles that UNESCO seeks to promote, and they are the free exchange of information, the elimination of barriers to learning, and the empowerment of individuals to access and contribute to the collective knowledge of community. By championing open knowledge, UNESCO reinforces ideals of inclusivity, collaboration, and of fostering peace that are the heart of the fundamental founding principles of the organization. Now, open knowledge can lead to transformative changes for the betterment of our society by helping to narrow down the knowledge gap, by promoting an inclusive and transparent approach to information accessibility. Secondly, it can, in advancing cultural diversity through the promotion and safeguarding of documentary heritage and indigenous languages. And thirdly, by empowering individuals and vulnerable groups through awareness raising and promotion of community-led initiatives. So allow me now to highlight the challenges and also what UNESCO is doing in collaboration with partners to respond to these challenges. Now, already in 2005, we had a world report towards knowledge societies. UNESCO acknowledged the emergence of a widening knowledge gap in various regions globally. The disparity resulted from uneven access to information attributable to a multitude of underlying factors such as connectivity, the inadequate investment in telecommunication infrastructure, which resulted in persistent disparities in terms of connectivity. Secondly, in terms of content and cultural relevance and adaptability or sensitivity of the content, because almost 90% of the content within open educational resource today in higher education originate from Europe and North America. And thirdly, there's a language barriers in education, as to 92% of materials in open educational resources are only available in English. And this has been a major challenge, especially during COVID time when remote learning became a major modality of teaching and learning. And fourthly, gender inequality. Still, women around the world tend to have limited access to internet and advanced technology due to certain gender stereotypes. And of course, a low literacy level. 2/3 of the world's world illiterate population are still women in this world, and this is a major challenge when it comes to also accessing materials and resources through the internet. Now, while many and the effort to tackle the challenges posed by knowledge gap issues and to guide global community towards transitioning from the state of knowledge divide to one of knowledge sharing, UNESCO has been supporting member states and partners at two levels, essentially at the upstream, we call it, the normative and standard setting level work, and also at the operational level, more with the people on the ground in the practice, to put these recommendation normative instruments into practice. So at the standard setting level, we have two important recommendations that I wish to share today. The first one is a recommendation on open science, which defines shared value and principles for open science and identify concrete measures on open access and open data. With proposal to bring citizens closer to science and commitments to facilitate the production and dissemination of scientific knowledge around the world. The other recommendation is more education related, is a recommendation on open education resources, which was adopted in 2019. It recognizes the importance of bridging the digital gap in building inclusive knowledge societies, facilitates the development and promotion of open educational resources with the aim of supporting learners of today and tomorrow. Now, open education resources represent a unique tool to foster learning and knowledge sharing, and which are essential not only in building inclusive knowledge societies, but also to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal overall. Now, these recommendations can really serve organizations and stakeholders involved in knowledge generation, creation, co-creation, largely all those who are today at this Wikimedia conference and beyond in two manners. First, by reinforcing the principles of open access to information and knowledge that underpin Wikimedia's mission as well. UNESCO's emphasis on free access to educational and scientific resources align closely with Wikimedia's mission, I believe, to providing free and open content to its audience Moreover, the guidelines can further strengthen Wikimedia's advocacy efforts, I believe, for more open knowledge and contribute to the role of its repository of diverse and freely accessible information. Secondly, UNESCO's recommendations offer valuable frameworks for both producers and users of knowledge and also information to enhance their initiatives related to regulations. It is intended to help all stakeholders, I mean governments, private sectors, academia, and to develop their appropriate and effective strategies and technology to counter disinformation and work to establish itself as a reliable information source. Now, as an effort to put these recommendations into practice, UNESCO has undertaken a series of initiatives on the ground through joining forces with its key partners and promoting open knowledge, especially in developing open education resources, OER in short. UNESCO, there's one called the OER Dynamic Coalition, which has brought together different stakeholders from member states and partners, including but not limited to ministries responsible for education and educational bodies, cultural institutions, and civil societies. And UNESCO is very pleased to have collaborated with Wikimedia Foundation on multiple initiatives as well. And these encompass most notably the Global Education Coalition for COVID-19 response, the Reading Wikipedia in the Classroom program, and the Open Education Resources in Ghana. And I believe that each of these initiatives stands as a key milestone to closing the knowledge gap today. Now, UNESCO will continue its mission to narrow the knowledge gap and support sharing information, especially through open educational resources, through 5 areas of action of the recommendation of OER. First, through capacity building of stakeholders to create access, reuse, adapt, and redistribute open educational resources. Second, in developing supportive policies in countries. And also thirdly, encouraging inclusive and equitable quality open educational resources. Fourth, nurturing the creation of sustainability models for open educational resources. And fifth, facilitating international cooperation. And I'm happy for that reason I'm here today with you. Now, it's crucial to recognize that benefits of open knowledge span across a broad spectrum. We acknowledge the significance of adopting a multi-phased approach. Open knowledge not only kind of fills knowledge gaps, but also plays a pivotal role in fostering cultural diversity. So today, open knowledge can play a significant role in advancing cultural diversity through awareness raising about the critical status of documentary heritage and indigenous languages and safeguarding of endangered heritage and languages. Today, documentary heritage face threat of extinction due to factors like looting, illegal trading, intentional destruction, inadequate storage, and lack of funding. The content evolution of digital technology has also presented additional risks, which must also be considered. Now, UNESCO's global study conducted in 2021 showed that over 60% of surveyed institutions did not have a written management plan in the event of any emergency of disaster, while archives and libraries and museums around the world have shown great resilience in recent years. Many continue to lack the capacity, resources to be able to respond to effectively to crisis. So we have very critical stage at the moment to ensure the safeguarding of manual heritage. Now, the situation concerning indigenous language is also especially concerning, and as more than 30% of the world's 7,100 languages documented or known are at risk of disappearing over time. That would have profound implications for cultural diversity and the invaluable cultural centuries-old knowledge essential for addressing current century challenges like climate change and biodiversity. And more than 2% of language does not have a meaningful online presence today, which means that we don't have localized software, websites, translation services, text-to-speech, and content moderation algorithms. So which means that millions of indigenous language speakers are unable to benefit from the new technology made available to us today. And also it prevents them from fully participating in socioeconomic and political activities. Thus, the enhancing digital presence is imperative to safeguarding both documentary heritage and indigenous languages. So we have to really live together in harmony with technology in order to safeguard our culture today. Oops. Okay. So bearing in mind these prevailing problems, UNESCO has embarked on a series of initiatives with the aim of addressing the issues related to documentary heritage and indigenous languages. This includes the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages, which was launched last year for 10 years, 2022 to 2023, which UNESCO serves as a secretariat and a lead agency. The decade aims to draw the world's attention to the status of indigenous languages, and the Memory of the World program, which aims to increase awareness of the existence and significance of documentary heritage. More recently, UNESCO celebrated the International Day of World's Indigenous People on 9th of August, where video projects of indigenous communities from different parts of Asia were shown. One of the honorary mentions includes the Hooked on Peace project, which aims to support youth in documenting indigenous stories of gender equality, peace building, and sustainability. UNESCO is also very pleased to have worked with the organization Bapana Audiovisual Resource Center to create an indigenous audio-visual archive. Now, we're also very pleased to hear about the successful program, the Wikimedia-led projects, including Wikisource Loves Manuscript, which I also had the pleasure of visiting and seeing earlier behind at the back of this room, and also Wiki Loves Living Heritage Project. And I would like to really commend Wikimedia for bringing these initiatives forward and contributing to the significant progress in fostering cultural diversity. Now, UNESCO will continue to work diligently to protect and preserve and promote access to the world's documentary heritage to ensure that the indigenous people's priorities are continuously heard, and to ensure that indigenous communities have greater participation in the creation and access of multilingual information and educational resources. Open knowledge plays a crucial role in empowering individuals and communities through enhancing access to information, promoting transparency and accountability as well. And we are committed to continue assisting member states to comply with and implement international treaties and agreements, norms and standards related to universal access to information, as well as to contribute towards inclusive knowledge societies. Now, we also recognize, and it is one of our organizational global priority, is the promotion of gender equality. And we understand the importance of promoting gender equality is a fundamental human right. It is a building block for social justice and economic necessity. So in collaboration with Wikimedia, we launched in 2019, the Wiki Women initiative, which aimed to provide a better representation of women figure by increasing information accessibility to them. Now, before closing, I would also like to remind everyone here that in order to raise awareness on the importance of access to information, UNESCO declared 2015 that 28th of September every year will be celebrated as the International Day of Universal Access to Information. This year, to commemorate this International Day, UNESCO will be convening the Global Conference on Universal Access on Information on 28th of September 2023, where topics surrounding access to information will be discussed, including the matter of digital accessibility and connectivity. So we truly are excited to welcome all our participants across the globe to join us at this conference and to contribute their valuable insights on matters on information accessibility, which I believe is a key driver for the achievement of the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. So, ladies and gentlemen, UNESCO is, again, we are here to work with all of you to achieve the SDGs with our partners, and we'll continue to foster collaboration in education, science, and culture to ensure that indigenous communities and disadvantaged and vulnerable population in all aspects of life can have greater participation in the creation and accessibility to multilingual information and education resources, so that for the future, we can achieve a future where no one is left behind. So with that, I would like to end my presentation by wishing you a very fruitful conference and express once again my sincerest appreciation to the organizers for allowing UNESCO to join and be partner of this Wikimedia 2023, and also thanking every participant for paying attention to this presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Maki. We would like to open the floor for any particular question for Ms. Maki. Okay. Andrew, please.
Hi, Ms. Maki. Thank you so much for your talk, and it was so inspirational knowing, even just giving a rundown of all the collaborations that have been done with UNESCO. I think many of us who were there to experience them even forgot about some of the depths of how much collaboration there's been. So thank you so much for being here in person at our first ever conference after many years of absence. I'm wondering whether you had any insights. One of the things that we're dealing with in the what we call, the GLAM work that we do with heritage institutions and Wikimedia is a lot of the standards we have for describing the type of digital culture and heritage you're talking about have been dominated by Western institutions or Western academic standards. So even the ways to categorize or describe them with metadata are often inadequate when we're talking about the regions that you work with in terms of Southeast Asia or East Asia. And we struggle a lot with even very well-resourced institutions to come up with the best metadata practices and cataloging practices. I'm wondering if you have any insights into either encouraging stories on how we might move forward with having kind of a community of practice in Asia and Southeast Asia to develop those metadata and cataloging standards to be more helpful in what we're doing and what you're promoting there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. We would like to invite Dr. Kirk of National Heritage Board. We'll just do a quick photo.
Stay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the question. I thought suddenly the photo came in, so. Actually, your question extremely, I would say, a difficult one, but very important question. I won't be able to probably provide you with really, wise insight at this point. I must actually come back to you later on, and I will do all my homework. But I think we do have an opportunity now, given that we are in the middle of the indigenous, the Union Decade for Indigenous Languages, and also we are also looking at the 20 years of intangible heritage, intangible cultural heritage. A lot of momentums we created. We're also approaching the midterm of SDGs, where we are reviewing how national policies are doing in terms of the well-being of our population. I think it is time for us to really raise more voice from the regions to get our governments to speak on our behalf. I think your concern is well taken because it does get, the bigger voices tend to dominate discussion, especially when it comes to intergovernmental negotiations around, standard settings and normative instruments that seem to guide how we are actually working today. But I think it also depends on each one of us to make that voice. And I think here in Wikimedia Foundation has a great platform to raise voices. And I think the biggest, I think in UNESCO's work, the biggest achievement we always get is when we work closely with the civil society and private sectors and foundations. And we collectively raise voices around issues that is really at the heart of our mission, and also which is considered to be a universal value, contributed to human rights. So I would look forward to working with you a lot on this and making sure that our regional context is also very fully reflected in the global discussions. And I think we won't be able to do it without you anyway. So we look forward to the partnership in the coming years. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Maki. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Arigato gozaimasu.
Terima kasih.
Okay, so our next, I'm sorry we don't have another Q&A. She will be at the concourse area for our Q&A.
yeah.
But if in case we have time later, I'll also open the floor for